Hello, 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 hello. Welcome aboard. Tonight we're going to be hopefully a little bit more timely. I want to let everybody know that is going to be joining us when you watch this in the future. My plan on Tuesdays is to answer questions and to have a coach, whether it's travel, college, someone within the baseball world and landscape join me to be able to offer their thoughts. I think it worked out really well with Rob at NorCal and Coach Sergio Brown from USC Trojans. I want to say I hope everybody had a great week or is having a great week. I want to first and foremost let everybody know, getting a lot of questions about the Pro Line balls. Couple things, they work with the jugs, with the hack attack. You can use them both from an offensive perspective as well as a defensive perspective. And so those of you that have already ordered the Pro Line balls, I'm getting tremendous feedback. I really, really encourage you, whether you're a coach, an athlete, a parent, if you're looking from a training perspective, let's say you're a young catcher, you want to catch high velocity or spin without risking injury, the Pro Ball is really good with that. Also, with regard to training as a hitter, and you want to work again with velocity or spin, I can tell you I have a lot of young athletes that utilize it and they love it. So go ahead and click on the description down below, and you can use the code to get your discount at the Pro Line ball, especially if you're in a cold weather state. You're going to be going inside. You're looking for durability and serviceability as far as being able to get your reps with consistency. The Pro Line training ball, both softball and baseball, really tremendous training tool. Got a lot of emails from last week. Didn't do a show. I thought people would be wanting to take a rest from listening to me, but quite the contrary. And I'm really honored and humbled at all of the questions. Boy, oh boy, did I get a lot of questions and emails. Literally today from, say, 6:30 a.m. all the way literally until about 7:30. I just wrapped up with the family. Lots and lots of questions. And that's what tonight is all about. There's a lot of parents that are beyond frustrated. I mean, frustrated. It's early decision time at some colleges. We're running up against November. We have young men that are currently in college, that are having some technical difficulties. We have high school seniors, high school juniors, and so forth. It's just a lot of frustration. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to answer your questions. That's what Tuesday nights are all about. Would love for you to engage with the video. Just want to talk real briefly. The YouTube channel is about to undergo a little bit of a polish, or a lot of polish. We're going to create some playlists, but there is a lot of information from 3-4 years ago, albeit when I was, 80 pounds heavier. It's still my words, and it's still appropriate today. And I encourage you to engage with the YouTube video, subscribe. I'm almost to the point of begging. Subscribe. It's free. There is no price tag associating with subscribing. It's just a click of a mouse or a button or whatever you're doing. If you're watching from television, you can take your remote, click up, slide over, hit the thumbs up button, and also hit the subscribe button. It really, really helps. Now, I want to say hello. Okay, Mr. Smith. All right, you're back in the house. Keith, this is great. Keith has a son. Currently a sophomore in college at a JUCO, and really, really talented young man as a catcher. And I really encourage you to drop your questions in. I will put my spectacles on. You're a parent and you're frustrated. You're very, very frustrated. You have heard from all kinds of people, not just myself, and you have reached a point of frustration, and you're trying to find answers. And that's what I'm going to provide for you tonight. There is perception, and then there is reality. And for the last 18 months, we have been talking about these changes in the effects that they would have within the recruiting landscape. And I want to tell you, it's not just parents and student athletes that are frustrated. A lot of college coaches, this is not like anytime a college coach has to sit down with the student athlete, maybe things aren't working out or so forth. It's not a pleasant time when you have to part ways or you have to make difficult decisions. I just want to make sure parents understand that. Sometimes we see a lot of things on social media that portray college coaches, and in some cases, high school coaches, in kind of a dark light. And I want to make sure that you understand, having been a college coach and having been a parent of a student athlete, two of them that have played for really, really elite college programs at the NCAA and the NAIA and the JUCO level. I want to let you know that college coaches really genuinely care for their athletes, but they have a job to perform, and that's how they are compensated. So let's start right out of the gate with some realities that you're not going to hear anyplace else. And I promise you, you're not going to hear these anyplace else. The number one thing I want you to understand is this. If I were to show you my phone, and I will before we're ending this show, and I want to have people tell me, hey, I want to see what you're talking about to back this up. The number one thing that we have to come to grips with is when I am contacting and talking to college coach, whether it's from just a friendship perspective or if I'm engaging on behalf of a student athlete or family, they are all basically saying right out of the gate, new reality. Walt, if that young man that you're going to talk to me about is comparable to a JUCO graduate or a JUCO athlete coming into the 4-year world, then I'm happy to look at him. But if he's not, it doesn't make any sense. So at some point, parents have to begin to hear this and make adjustments. I mean, we had Rob Bruno on a couple weeks ago, and also Sergio, who talked to us at USC. I think I heard Rob use the word physicality repeatedly, during the course of that discussion. But yet parents are still ultra laser focused on what used to be. And what used to be was high school recruiting classes of 12 to 15 athletes. Now, maybe 2, and if I'm being generous, 5. That's a reality. So we either have to understand that and adjust, or we're going to be a big group of disappointed adults, and our student athletes are going to learn a very, very difficult lesson. Now, I want to start tonight's discussion with the foundation that a lot of parents that I've worked with, more importantly, student athletes that are currently freshmen in college, are really finding it to be a very, very difficult environment. And I want you to understand that when I say, on whether I'm talking to you on Tuesdays or during our discussions with college coaches with the baseball blue book, I want you to understand that fall baseball is in no way, shape, or form even remotely to high school or travel baseball. It's a very, very competitive environment. The upperclassmen know this. They are aggressive. They are supportive, but they're definitely not going to hand over their bat or glove to an underclassman and say, here, take my roster spot or take my position. It's brutal. It's a transition that is massive. So that is part of the reality versus perception. This is something that you need to understand. I have a young man, I will not mention a name, nor will I mention a school, who is currently a junior at one of the country's most elite, prestigious academic institutions in the world. Didn't play his freshman year, didn't quit. Didn't play his sophomore year, didn't quit. Was told by the coaching staff last June at an exit meeting, chances are you're going to be cut. Now, we can't cut you from the school, but chances are you're not going to play baseball. So you can either A, elect to transfer as a sophomore, or you can come back and walk on back into fall baseball and compete for a roster spot. Now, I will tell you 99 out of 100 young men or young athletes would have basically said to me, I need a new home, find me a new home. I'm out of here. This guy's a jerk and I don't like it here. Not this young man, not this family. Because I basically said to the young man, hey, when we started this journey when you were a sophomore, junior in high school, you didn't strike me as a quitter. So you have two options here. You can go find a place that you think is greener, softer, less harsh, or you can battle your rear end off and work hard this summer and go back next fall and show the coaching staff you're not a quitter. You're in it to win it. You have talent. Well, here we are in the fall, latter half of the fall, and that young man is glowingly successful and in all probability is going to be an active participant next spring for this particular college program. So what's the moral of this story? College athletics, it's hard. There's a lot of big boy decisions, and you as a student athlete and more importantly as a parent need to be understanding that right now today, whatever spot you're in, we can't go back. We can't go do anything about yesterday. We have to prepare every day today for tomorrow. And I want you to understand that this is a process. Now, I can tell you something straight out of what I call my heart and my soul. 95%, 99% of people that are recruiting agencies or services, Merville Melendez, Doug Minkiewicz, they've lived it at the highest level. They've been college coaches or major league athletes, and their children are experiencing whether it's college or professional baseball. They're very good at what they do. I've lived this as a dad. I've lived this as two sons, and they've both taken different paths. So I have perspective. I have understanding. I have an understanding of how you are as a parent when things aren't going our children's way. It's tough. It's tough because you're on display at a very high, prominent level of athletics, and you either perform or you sit. It's not fun watching your child struggle. It's not fun watching your student athlete not get into the schools that they want to go to. The understanding of tonight, reality versus perspective. Perspective. Oh, I just play high school ball. I play a lot of games, and then I really play at a high level in high school. Our high school team, they're the best team in the state, or they have a history of a rich tradition of sending athletes to college. Or my travel team has won 20 national championships at the 6U level all the way up to the 17. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Those days are gone. They're like the Beatles. They're like Led Zeppelin. It's like Queen. We could put them all back together again. They're not going to sound the same. They have different players, and it's not going to be the same. College baseball has taken a hard, aggressive, full speed left-hand turn. And a lot of parents and athletes are going 100 miles an hour straight ahead. And what they don't realize is probably about 5 miles up ahead while you're cruising at 100 miles an hour thinking, we got this because we play at a great high school. We got this because our travel program is really, really good. There's a big brick wall, and it's like massive cement wall that you're running into. Parents are calling me up. It's November. We have no offers. Nobody's calling. We should have done this. Oh, by the way, Division III looks really attractive now in hindsight. We thought we were going to be going Division I, Division I, Division I. You don't get to choose where you want to go unless you have paid the dues with regard to your body, to your skill, to your school, your classroom. It is as simple as that. Well, if I need this guy to have 500 college at-bats before I can have him come in. Here's some of the vernacular that college coaches use with me every single day. Well, as a hitter, I need this guy to get 50 to 100 at-bats. If he can't give me 50 to 100 at-bats as a freshman, I have no room on the roster. I need this guy to give me 20 to 30 quality innings. If he does, great. If he can't, I can't take him. I need to go get the transfer portal. I need to go get the JUCO graduates. I need to go get the post grad guys that are older and more mature before I look / dream on a high school guy. That's simply a fact. It's not a Division I issue. It's not a Division I topic. It is a college baseball topic. JUCO, NAIA, NCAA, Division 3, 2, and 1. Approximately, I'm just giving you high numbers. They're lower than this, but just for the sake of discussion, 12,000 Division 1, a little bit more Division 2, Division 3, about the same. So at the NCAA level, you have approximately 35,000 athletes. NAIA, which is also a 4-year level, those schools probably have about another 10,000 students. JUCO, let's call it another 10,000. That's 55,000 athletes. And if you start doing the math, the guys that are going into college, older, physical, stronger, they're more mature, they have experience. So if you owned a business, and let's just say a tire repair shop, an auto body shop, a construction company, and your business is thriving, and you need someone that can come in and hit the ground running and really jump in and start, going to work right away, quality work, like elite work. Would you want the apprentice, or do you want the seasoned, experienced, worker? Which would you prefer? That's what college baseball coaches are out here doing. So, parents, what can you do? What should you be doing? Talking with parents, social media, texting, calling, stream calls. Many people are finally beginning to see what we've been talking about. When I say we, the Blue Book, myself, and the college coaches, what we've been talking about so passionately is that if you've prepared properly, like not everybody has to go to a post-grad school. Not everybody has to do a gap year. Not everybody has to go to a Division 3 or a JUCO. But there are pathways that have to be explored sooner rather than later. If you are an 8th, 9th, or 10th grader, or the parent thereof, you should be going to the nth degree to make sure that your grades are in shape, first and foremost. Don't have to be straight A's. Don't have to be all loaded up with AP or honor classes, but you have to have a firm foundation. 8th, 9th, and 10th grade, you're not going to be able to catch up. Next, meal prep, meal planning, nutrition. Anybody listen to Tommy Moffitt? Oh, Tommy Moffitt, now Texas A&M, digressing quickly, was the LSU strength coach, got let go and ended up at Texas A&M. They're doing things at A&M with regard to sleep, hydration, supplementation, meal planning, meal prep. If the college coaches are doing this, listen to Chris Martin, strength coach at LSU, Chris Ham, strength coach at Vanderbilt. Listen to these coaches that are talking about sleep, hydration, meal prep, supplements, strength training. If they're doing it in college, when do you want to begin to do it as student athletes? Like the answer should be yesterday. Next, skill set. I want to really make sure I say this correctly, and I want to say this in a very direct capacity. I don't care, and neither does your college coach, about your statistics, about your accolades, about your rankings. What they want to understand is, does your skill set translate now into college? If you're 5'8" to 6'2" and you weigh under 175, there's work to do. If you're playing middle infield or center field or right field and you run a 7'2", not going to play at the college level. When do we want to address that? Skill sets. skill is repetition. Repetition is retention. Retention builds instincts. With instincts comes confidence. Are you going to continuously try to chase games, or are you going to develop? Listen, Rob Bruno, Andy Parkin from the Dirtbags, North Carolina Dirtbags. I can rattle off. You got Baseball U in Connecticut. You got the Ohio Warhawks. These guys are emphasizing development. They're not talking about development. They're actually doing things to develop high school baseball players. And what are they doing? Repetition. They're doing controllable reps. They're getting reps versus similar calibers, student athletes. Because you don't want to go play in these games where pool play and you go 4 for 4 against 78-mile-an-hour fastball. So my point of all of this is the sooner that we as adults begin to understand that the college coaches are not playing around. They are not, just talking for the sake of talking. When they're using words like physicality, when they're using words skill, speed, size, strength, grades, school, they mean it, because those separators are absolutely 1,000% in play. So rather than looking at all the doom and gloom, who's about to be cut? What's the portal going to look like in another 4 weeks when December 1st rolls around and rosters have to be reduced? Who's the JUCOs that are coming out early and they're coming out of JUCO in January and going to Division I or Division II or Division III? The message is all of college baseball. You need to look at all of college baseball as one. I get it. LSU, if they're going against LSU Alexandria or they're going against Baton Rouge Community College, depending upon who's pitching, the talent is probably a little bit, higher end at LSU and Baton Rouge as opposed to Pearl River Community College, but not by much. So you really have to begin to understand that what you're preparing for is all of college baseball. If a college coach at any level is contacting you, might be a really good idea to engage and learn about that school. Now, it might not fit geographically, it might not fit academically, and that's okay. But as far as baseball is concerned, the foundational point for tonight is to understand that every college coach is looking for experience. They use technology like Synergy. Synergy is a video system where a college coach can say, Walt Beede is playing currently at Salve Regina, and the Salve coach thinks that this guy's really good, so let me look at his Synergy video. High school video is not like Synergy video. I can look up on Synergy every at-bat versus left-handers with men on base. I can look up all innings pitched, with men on base. I can look up left-hander versus left-hander, right-hander versus left-hander. And my point to you is coaches are using technology. So they're evaluating at a much higher level than high school. And even if you play at the greatest high school team in the country, Barb, Walton in Florida, that has Denton Lord, John Curtis in New Orleans. Even if you play at a great high school, Jupiter, Florida, IMG Academy, those schools are going to play inferior levels of competition, whereas college programs are playing against men, college athletes. And so they're used to the routine. They're used to the competition. This is something that college coaches weigh heavily when deciding to bring in a transfer or a JUCO. That's a big separator. So what I want parents to really understand, athletics, whether we want to admit to it or not, are the key, literally and figuratively, into college. And so we as adults need to prepare our student athletes mentally as well as physically for what truly is in front of them. There are hurdles. I, I often refer when I'm working with families to the decathlon. And for those of you that are not track athletes, the decathlon has obstacles, it has hurdles, you're jumping in puddles, you have sprints, you have long distance run, you have strength, shot put, javelin. College recruiting is a decathlon, not a marathon, not a sprint. It's a decathlon. And a lot of parents are being told, I like to use the word exploited, because you're overwhelmed and you're seeking truth. And what I want you to understand is the number one thing that you should be doing as parents, again, I've said this over and over, but it starts with a real evaluation. Like if your son is a pitcher and he's 6'1" and 145 pounds, and he's a sophomore or a junior, no coach is going to ask you about his statistics. No coach is going to ask you about his ranking. They're going to stop at 145. They didn't hear anything that came after that. Now, the next part of this equation, because I don't want to ramble, I do want to answer questions. You're going to be told by coaches there's no room at the inn. There was a coach at Bentley College. It was named Coach D. Felice. And D passed away. Rest in peace, Coach. But Coach D. Felice used to begin his recruiting, like he'd meet with the parents and the student athlete, and he'd sit in the chair and he'd look at the student athlete and he would start his conversation. You know, Walt, you probably don't have the grades to get in here and you're probably not good enough to play here, but I hear you like the sport, so tell me why I should be recruiting you. And he wanted to see who was going to fight upstream. He basically wanted to see who was going to roll over and play dead, or who was going to basically, fight. And so parents, we have to understand that the reality is when your student athlete gets an email, hey, sorry, we're full. There's no room at the inn. What about the young man that's a junior in college? And he was told, hey, man, you're not going to make the baseball program here. You might as well leave. Not so fast. You have to have a plan. You have to have a mindset. You have to have someone that understands that this process, A, is worth fighting for, and B, you're finding the right fit for you as a student athlete. Not for mom, not for dad, not so that you can go run on social media and say, I'm pleased and proud and thankful that I'm going to be able to commit to any college that you can commit to, where the coach wants you and you want them. I don't care what level it is. I used to coach at a school that was 0 and 131, Becker College, not even around anymore. And I promise you, I could have my student athletes that are now in their late to mid 30s. Nobody ever said to me, oh boy, I can't wait to go to Becker College. But my last year at Becker College, we were like 39 and 17, and nobody stepped on us anymore because I had a bunch of guys that were fighters, and I had to be loud, I had to be aggressive, and I had to fight for them. And that's what I do when I do this. When my college athletes see me on this, they're like, Coach, it sounds like you're in the locker room. And for me, I feel like I'm in the locker room. Because at some point, you as parents and you as student athletes have to stand up for yourselves in an educated capacity and fight for who you want to be, who you want to become. Somebody tells you no, okay, what do I have to do to be better? Create a plan. Execute that plan. Take action steps. It's not a magic wand. It's not a pill. It's not a powder. I had an athlete tell me the other day, I can't gain weight. You keep talking about I need to get to 185, but okay, how will you make it? Tell me your breakfast. Tell me your lunch. And then when I went through it with them, 2.5 meals a day with a thing of Pringles chips, it's not going to get it done. You're not fighting. That's not fighting. That's not competing. And so there is a path. There used to be a term where anybody that really wanted to play college baseball, there would be a window of opportunity. Now that's not the case. It's the battle of will, the battle of the body, and the battle of skill. Will, skill, body. You got to fight for it. And if you're an old rap enthusiast such as myself, you got to fight for the right to get on a roster. It's as plain and simple as that. So what I want you as parents and athletes to understand, what can you do? Okay, let's make things simple. The first part of the plan is to really look in the mirror. Where are you at with your process? Who are you today, right now? Right now, as you're watching this video, who are you as a student athlete? What are your strengths? But boy, oh boy, make a list of your weaknesses. That needs to be number one. You need to have that look in the mirror, go eyeball to eyeball with that piece of glass. What do I do well? But more importantly, what am I not doing well enough? Okay, questions here. Let's see here. Coach, I know you're not admissions, but in your opinion, what's the lowest GPA for a player still get into Vanderbilt? Okay. Now, I don't know if people can actually see these questions, and I'm really not sure why this matters to so many gosh darn people. But for some reason, people think this is fictitious when I do this. But these are the questions. If I'm putting my glasses on, I'm reading something. I promise you. From a vanity perspective, I'm not a big fan of the big black glasses. So here's the other part of this equation. I'm going to say, there's lots of GPAs that get into college. Now, you use Vanderbilt. I have some familiarity. This sign behind me, my son went to Vanderbilt. Oh, by the way, national champion. The big thing is you got to be really, you don't have to be a genius, but you have to have some study habits. I would say 3.2-ish, 3.0. Now, a legit weighted GPA, right? So this is where parents go off the block. You need a weighted GPA, a Q score. Everybody calls it different things. It's your core curriculum, math, English, science, language. It's not PE. It's not typing class. It's not the electives. It's the core curriculum. Now, some schools are test optional. I happen to agree with that. Other schools are not. You really have to be aware. Some coaches will say, when a parent or a student athlete, I'm not a good test taker. Okay. Well, maybe work harder to be a better test taker. And just say, rather than say I'm not a good test taker, just say I'm working really hard. I'm utilizing some tutors and some faculty, and I'm really trying as hard as I can to, to up my scores or retake the tests. But academics do matter, not just from a grade perspective, but they show accountability. Like if you're a 2.5, and again, I've said this before, my dad's favorite expression to me, when I would bring my report cards home from elementary school and up and through, he passed away when I was a junior in high school. Every single quarter, when I got a report card, if there was a C, you're either the best of the worst or the worst of the best. Being average is in the middle of the road. And not so good things happen when you're in the middle of the road. Roadkill. So think about that for a second. When you were allowed to be on the midline, mid-level, nobody can really see us. The A student, oh, I'm over here. The B student, oh, I'm over here. The C student, and if we're D and F, we're just not giving our best. We're just not And I get it. There are learning disabilities, and I'm not here to pass judgment. But understand when a college coach says, what kind of grades does he have, Walt? He's really asking, how hot of a worker is he, Walt? Does he have some level of, is he striving to be better? Is he striving to be above average? Look at it this way. You may say, oh, I got a 79. It's almost a B. Okay, almost. It's like hand grenades and, horseshoes. So always strive to be above average if possible. Good evening, coach. From your experience, would coaches prefer a 250 hitter with 20 plus home runs or a 400 hitter with 1 or 2 home runs? Okay, so I'm going to answer that by telling you this. If you're a middle of the order bat, meaning you're a corner guy, a left fielder, right fielder, first baseman, or third baseman, or even a catcher for that matter, a 250 with a 20 tank season, that'll play. If you're a middle of the order, a middle of the, kind of middle of the field, you're a shortstop, second baseman, center fielder, you're a table setter, you get some really, really good speed. You're going to hit the 1, 2, maybe 3, the 6 and 7 hole are going to be where I'm going to put my 350 to 400 hole hitters. And so coaches in today's world are position orientated. So to answer that question, if you're a corner position player, the tanks over the average. If you're a rabbit and you're a speed guy, the 400 or the 300 plus with a couple of home runs, that'll play. So it really is position specific. No coach is going to walk away from 20 home runs, but they don't want you clogging up the base paths if you can't get between the lines. So there you go. What do you see players struggle with more at the next level? Velo, off speed, workout schedule, schoolwork. Okay, most freshmen struggle mightily with the scheduling. The scheduling, is not their own. They're not accustomed to having 6 days a week scheduled in their entirety by a coach. Maybe they have a strict parent, but when they're told what time to get up, where to go, what time to be there, where they have to be after there at the morning, in the mid-afternoon, in the early evening, into the late evening, and then they have to do this, 6 days a week, say 16 to 18 hours a day, they struggle with that. So getting into a routine is number one. Number two, the consistency of the level of skill that they face way beyond high school or way beyond travel baseball. Now, in high school, you may have a couple guys on your team. You may have a couple guys in your league. In travel ball, you may run up against a more than that, really higher level. But with the level of skill and precision, upperclassmen are polished. And when I say polished, they're focused. Nothing gets in their way. They're not looking left. They're not looking right. They're looking in front of them. They know their role. They understand their role. They embrace their role, and they execute their role. They don't care what they used to be. They care about what they are and what they're striving to become. They have a focus that is plural and it's not singular. Let me say that again. Upperclassmen they're inclusive. They're plural. They are not singular. They are not me, my, I guys. We don't do that here. Our locker room is our private area. Us, our, we, replace I, my, and me. So I want parents to understand, been doing this an awful long time. And I'm telling you, the biggest obstacle that most freshmen face at the college level, how come the coach doesn't talk to me? He doesn't say hi. How come this guy talked to me on the phone, but now he's like a jerk? I didn't play at all yesterday. We played 14 innings. I never got an at bat. I didn't even get to dress. Hey, I'm better than that guy. Hey, the coaches make me do all this work, but yet I never get in. Should I go talk to the coach? I get those calls every day. And it's hard to talk to parents that are frustrated when they are talking to their student athletes. But the biggest obstacle for parents during the whole recruiting process and into their freshman, maybe even their sophomore year, is giving up the wheel. You're not driving the bus. You have no control of where the bus is going. You don't have to like the college coach. You don't have to like any of the college coaches, but their house, their rules, their way. Period. End of story. And so, as a parent, if you are not allowing your student athlete during the 8th grade through senior years to begin to like be accountable in driving their own bus as a metaphor, it's gonna end badly in college. And here's one more topic I think we really need to talk about, and that is college coaches are not looking to engage with parents. It's nothing personal. While you may want answers, they would like the student athletes to take more of a active approach with regard to their careers. Now, they may not like what they hear, but they need to ask, am I on the right path? Is there anything I can be doing more of? Should I be working on a skill? You need to be the lead sled dog in that discussion, not mom, not dad. And so that's a pivotal part of this entire recruiting process. And I want to reiterate, I get a lot of college coaches that are watching this now or will watch tomorrow morning, and I get a lot of phone calls. And they all say the same thing, and that is, we're not the bad guy. They get paid to put a team on the field. And whether you understand this or not, like I have Division 3 teams, Division 2 teams, JUCO teams. Do you realize how many athletes are on in those programs during the fall? And then you think you catch your breath in the fall and you're preparing for the holiday season and baseball's around the corner, January and February, and all of a sudden you look up and there's 10 new teammates in the locker room. And guess what? One of them plays your son's position. That's going to happen. That's the way this world works. And so, what I'm trying to give you an understanding of reality versus perception. Nothing about high school or travel baseball is an indicator for college. You have to earn your spot, your uniform. And then you have to earn your playing time. And oh, by the way, once you've earned your playing time, newsflash, you got to continue to earn your roster spot and your position. It's not like, oh, I'm going to start my sophomore year and then I'm going to start my junior and senior year. No, you might, but you better be working for it. So at the end of the day, I want parents to understand, as I wrap this up in record time, under an hour, which is huge for me. One, this is a process. This is a process, and you need a plan. And I want you to understand that the metaphor for today is this. You need the body, the mindset, the skill set to become a college player at any level. I don't care what level. There are boys that are at Division 3 programs that are like, oh my gosh, this is unbelievable hard. Wow, my goodness, I didn't realize these guys were this good. JUCO, that's 130 guys in the fall, and only 9 can play at one time. Is there a developmental squad? Is there a JV program? You know, these are things you need to understand. And one of the ways that you can do that is twofold. One, Blue Book profile. Make sure you create the Blue Book profile, not from a vanity perspective. You know, I get this question all the time. What the heck is the Blue Book profile going to do? Here's what it's going to do. If I say to a coach, Blue Book profile, here's the guy's name, here's the city, here's the state. He's going to go to the profile. What's he going to get? He's going to get the transcripts. He's going to get all the social media. There's a plethora of information that's going to be on that Blue Book profile that's not on the YouTube channel. It's certainly not on the Twitter or X handle, formerly known as Twitter. The coaches can go there. It's a one-stop. Okay, let me check out the grades. Let me check out the video. Let me check out the progression. Because as a Blue Book profile, here's my video as an 8th grader. Here's my video as a 9th grader. Here's my video as a 10th grader. I'm seeing skill. I'm seeing size. I'm seeing strength. I'm seeing a progression. So the Blue Book profile, that's one. Two, you should be listening to the college coaches each and every Thursday. Like this week and next week, Cal Berkeley, Duke, UVA, talking with Assumption and Kennesaw State. Now, I have a Division III school in there. I have a Division II school. I have a bunch of Division I schools. I'm going to be talking to Northern Essex, Coach Major. I'm going to be talking with him. Going to be talking to all of these coaches, but I want you as parents engage with these coaches. If I put their email address, hey, I watched you on Coach Beede's episode. I have a question. Okay, how can I help you? And they're gonna, they'll talk to you in a generic form, and answer your questions. Also, go to these clinics. When I say clinics, ABCA in Columbus. There's one in New England, in Connecticut, at the what is it? Is a casino that they have there, and that big, not Foxwoods, the other one, and they have a big convention. They have one in New Jersey. They have one in Virginia. They go to these clinics and talk to these coaches and ask questions as parents. High school coaches are a pivotal part of the college recruiting process, as are travel coaches. They all have relationships, they all have rapports, and college coaches want to know more about your student athlete over and above. Can they swing it? Can they throw it? How is he in the classroom? How is he in the locker room? How is he playing football? How is he when he's with the, in the cafeteria? Only the high school coach can answer those questions. When it's talking about how does he travel, how does he, all of those, that's with a travel coach. He blends well with others. He handles adversity on the road, those types of things. Take advantage of all that. Lastly, if you have questions, I encourage you. This week, I got 1 million questions, and I answered most of them. And I enjoy that part of this business. I enjoy answering questions and helping people. And I enjoy hearing, hey, my son just got an offer from Hawaii to a Division III program. All right, Cliff. And when I see these levels of success that parents, they're stressed out over, oh, he's not going to be able to get into that Division III school. We'll get him in. You do the work, we'll get him in. And that is our whole purpose of Tuesdays. So I want to say thank you to everyone that talks. Now, Doug Adams, again, so timing is everything, right? So, and I want to also say hello to my favorite Hurricane. Miami Canes, football-wise, are back. And I'm looking forward to December and January. But Doug Adams is a great example of a travel coach, interacting with high school coaches, becoming a college coach, and taking a program that may not have had that much, I'm going to call it enthusiasm. And now this fall, he's got a bunch of dirt dogs in there, and they're competing, and he's building a program. He's going out and building a program. And we're going to talk to Doug at a JUCO, as a JUCO coach, and he's going to be able to talk about that transition from travel to JUCO and what the talent levels are like. So we're going to talk to all these coaches, providing you content, providing you answers, providing you information. More importantly, these are my opinions. They're opinions that I've learned as a parent, as a player, and now within the industry that I have worked in for almost 40 years, the sport of baseball. It's a love, it's a passion. And I am thrilled that people take the time to watch and listen. I would really appreciate it if you would share this channel, the Coach Beede channel. If you would share it with those in your community, you would share it with others. I love when I go to the ABCA and I find coaches from California. Hey, Walt, I watch. That means a great deal to me. And there are some days I don't get to call people right back, but I do get back to them when time allows, and I appreciate that. I would appreciate it if you subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's absolutely free. I would appreciate it if you engage with a bunch of videos and just go and hit the like all over that, because that creates the algorithm and that helps the channel grow. And YouTube is free. It's free. And I think it's a great resource to help parents. This coming Thursday, I'm going to be talking with Brett Wallace at Cal Berkeley. And I'm really looking forward to talking with Brett. Also going to be talking with Frank Holbrook, the new head coach at Brown University. So these are the coaches that are going to share insights. And I want you to send me questions that you want me to ask these coaches on the lives with the Coaches Corner. So I want to say thank you. Every single Tuesday, we're going to be continue to do this all year round. All year round, I'm going to be answering questions that come. I'm going to, do little short videos for parents to be able to get the information out. If I get your question, I'm going to ask your permission to create a video about that question. I just want you to. This is for you. My wife would prefer that I didn't do them every Tuesday, but I do them. I thank you all for joining. I hope to see you next Tuesday. Keith, thank you so much. Yes, build the resume. Build the resume. Do you still like us to re-ask the questions we post during the live in the comment section? Yes, 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 yes. Yes, Mr. Smith, please. Doug Adams will be talking soon. Go Canes. And for all those parents that are sending me notes on Twitter because I'm getting scolded, I'm not checking my Twitter. I just want to let you know I get them. I do want to share this as a closing. I'm going to find this. I'm not going to share the name. Okay, so I'm going to share this because we are live. Right now is the 28th of October at approximately 8:52, and I want you to zoom in on this, and I'm hopefully going to take his. What kind of room do you have in the class of 2026? Have room, but would need to be as good as JUCO guy we can get. Now, that's proof to you, Mr. I'll call you Mr. Smith. That's a fact, Jack. Parents, there's no embellishment. It's a tough world out there. You got to be ready. You got to be physical. And I hope this makes sense to you. Until next week, thank you for joining me. I look forward to talking with everybody on Thursday. We'll talk to Brett Wallace, Cal Berkeley, or Frank Holbrook from Brown University.